News, events, sports. Same time, same place, right in the heart of Isla Vista. UCSB TV is serving UC Santa Barbara and the surrounding community with real journalism.
Hello Gauchos, and welcome back to a new quarter of UCSB TV, the university's only broadcast news station bringing you all of the news, sports, and events you need to know in and around Isla Vista. I'm Annabelle Persaud.
And I'm Josh Rhodes. Here are the top stories for tonight.
This past Monday, President Trump and El Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele discussed the return of a wrongfully deported migrant, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, from the United States. During the conversation, Trump was captured saying, quote, "Homegrown criminals are next," end quote, sparking fears of U.S. citizen deportations.
The president suggested he plans to deport more people from the United States for unspecified crimes. UCSB TV will continue to bring you updates about this ongoing situation. Also this past Monday, American space technology company Blue Orbit successfully completed their latest trip into space featuring an all-female crew.
Grammy-nominated singer Katy Perry, among other notable women, flew for about 10 minutes at the edge of Earth's atmosphere before returning to Earth. The trip is touted as the first all-female spaceflight since 1963. Perry described the journey as supernatural and helping her feel, quote, super connected to love, end quote.
However, the launch has been generating a lot of criticism online for its significant environmental impact, and with some critics claiming the trip was an act of performative feminism and wealth flexing. CBS Morning host Gayle King and one of the passengers on the flight responded to the criticism saying the launch will have a profound impact on empowering young women.
In local news, UCSB's unsanctioned festival Deltopia took place a few weekends ago in the streets of Isla Vista.
That's right, Annabelle. According to the preliminary report from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, 485 citations were issued and 84 arrests were made. At the time of reporting, thankfully, the Sheriff's Office has stated that there are no casualties resulting from this year's event. However, someone was detained and then subsequently arrested on the way to Deltopia that was in possession of a loaded firearm.
In addition to this, there were 5 DUI arrests, all involving underage drinkers, made at DUI checkpoints leading into town. Lieutenant Schmidt of Isla Vista Foot Patrol said in the report that their officers did an excellent job managing the crowds as a result of the festival.
In more campus-related news, UCSB psychologist Maryam Kia-Keating is contributing to Netflix's newest show, Mighty Monster Wheelies by DreamWorks. Here's Arly with the full story.
When Mighty Monster Wheelies made its debut on Netflix in October 2024, audiences were immediately drawn to more than just colorful characters and action-packed adventures. The animated series centered around a diverse crew of young monsters disguised as heroes, delivering a mix of fun and emotional depth, something rarely seen in children's programming. What viewers did not know was the behind the scenes of Dr. Maryam Kia-Keating, a professor and clinical psychologist at UC Santa Barbara, who played a pivotal role in shaping the series' powerful storytelling. With her expertise in trauma, resilience, and youth development, Dr. Kia-Keating worked alongside creators to ensure the show went beyond simple entertainment. Her goal? To build stories that matter. We sat down with Dr. Kia-Keating and talked about her opportunity working with media creators of Mighty Monster Wheelies and her role in shaping stories that go beyond entertainment.
I think like many people and probably a lot of students, it's just something that you're enticed with is the entertainment industry because we're all kind of enjoying it as audience members. But I was also really interested as a psychologist and also a writer that I wanted to think about the power of storytelling and the ways in which what we watch impact us, not just at the individual level, but also our families, the ways we communicate together, and even society. So I think that stories, especially told in the media, because we're watching and getting super involved in the characters and the storyline, it can introduce us to whole worlds that we haven't had to experience ourselves. It can help us build empathy, but it can also have negative effects. So I was really interested throughout my career on what that could look like and if I might be able to get involved.
As a consultant on the show, Dr. Kia-Keating brought a unique perspective to the writer's room, helping the creative team craft narratives that reflect real-life emotional experiences. A key factor was implementing storylines that embrace a restorative justice perspective and helping to bring the community back together.
This particular show, the creators were really interested in creating storylines that implemented some through line of a restorative justice perspective, so that when their characters were resolving problems, they were taking an approach that really sought to bring the community back together in harmony rather than ending in conflict or a traditional kind of punishment or villain versus hero kind of stories.
Dr. Kia-Keating explains that through this fictional story, children begin to understand the value of community, laying the groundwork for problem-solving skills they can apply as they grow older.
I think there's a deeper level that, as we watch shows when we're little, a lot of those shows resonate with us throughout our lives. We all can remember the shows that were our favorites when we were little, and we remember the characters with care and affection. And so I think that those storylines can actually kind of resonate and sit with you longer than that time period. And it will mean different things as you go through your life, as you think and understand society differently, and you get a chance to grow up and have more complicated thoughts about like how our society structured, and how do you make sure people follow rules, and most importantly, what do you do when a rule is broken in a society? I think a restorative lens takes this approach of punishment is not always the right answer. So if we just say that all we're going to ever do is punish somebody when they do something wrong, we're missing a piece of the puzzle, which is like, how do we then bring that person back into society? Because, so far we're not shooting anybody off to the moon. So here they are back in society. And I think that's something that our society continues to struggle with our criminal justice system. So those are big, lofty ideas for a preschool show. But I think the underlying piece is, hey, can we think about what that looks like in practice at a smaller scale?
For Dr. Kia-Keating, this collaboration highlights the growing importance of psychologists in media spaces and encourages students to explore and embed their own work in various fields to provide diversity and knowledge.
The student, all experience is good experience, I think. And in each job that you do, if you're a journalist, if you're a storyteller telling fictional stories, and if you're an expert, everybody should start from a place of humility and recognizing that there may be something that they can do better, and getting outside perspectives from multidisciplinary angles can really truly benefit you and help you grow and do better. It's always helpful to get input, and always helpful to continue to learn and grow throughout your career and throughout your life.
As Mighty Monster Wheelies continues to teach and guide young viewers around the world, Dr. Kia-Keating's work serves as a reminder that meaningful media starts with purposeful collaboration. Through her expertise, the show not only entertains, but empowers change. Dr. Kia-Keating proves that when stories are guided by heart and science, they can leave a lasting impact. For UCSB TV, Arly Lara.
Thank you, Arly. Now to reporter Amanda Nolan on UCSB's Women's Center hitting a milestone of 50 years of community involvement.
As you enter the Student Resource Building, you will find the entrance to the Women's Center directly ahead. This year, the Women's Center celebrates 50 years at UCSB. Established in 1975 by the Women, Gender, and Sexual Equity Department, this center was created to offer students and faculty a safe space for support, resources, and a place to engage in meaningful conversation. Since then, the center has evolved, expanding its mission to support women of all backgrounds, including women of color, LGBTQ+ students, first-generation students, and other marginalized communities.
People are able to connect with other women that are like-minded and just learn more about feminism and ways to support each other and in our learning and how to become better feminists.
Viviana Valle Gomez, she, her.
My name is Betsy Kaminsky, she, her pronouns.
In celebration, the Women's Center hosted an anniversary gala in the Student Resource Building on April 4th.
I would say for me it really is about visibility, to know that we were able to get hundreds of people in the SRB first floor. It shows that we not only are still here, but we're powerful. We're not being shoved away by a political administration or by sexist beliefs that kind of permeate every part of our lives, we're still here and we're still with good support of community and other people outside of the university as well as inside.
This milestone, however, comes at a time when programs promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion are at risk of being dismantled by the Trump administration.
The first thing that came to mind was just the day after the election. We had, I don't know how many students come in here, just like maybe 200 students just kind of showing up saying like, what do we do? Like, we're so upset by what's happening. We can't believe that this happened. What do we do? So yeah, first off, it's just like creating space for folks to come in to kind of support one another. We'll get through this together. But certainly, it is a worrisome climate, for universities in general, for funding to be cut, and for some of the very values that we care about, like diversity, like inclusion, to be things that are being villainized and weaponized right now.
In the first months of Donald Trump's second term, Trump has issued many executive orders directly targeting DEI programs in universities. The president has threatened to cut funding if universities do not eliminate their DEI-related programs.
Attack on terminology, but at the end of the day, our ethics and the ways that we move are still going to be there. They're just going to be changed in name because we're still going to keep caring and we're still going to keep fighting this. So.
Even with DEI programs being threatened nationwide, the Women's Center stands firm, offering a safe and supportive environment for community members to express their concerns and find empowerment through solidarity.
So this space is really just that very introductory and non-judgmental zone to show that these issues affect every aspect of every discipline, every gender, every way of being in this world. So we never want to let that go because it would really just change the way people interact with each other.
So thinking specifically also about like what are the resources that are being threatened right now, and how do we ensure that students are not fearful, they're informed, and they have access to resources, and how can we facilitate that access?
In another 50 years, Gomez hopes to see the center expand beyond the jurisdiction of the university and reach out into the broader community.
Let's go way back and really think about ourselves as part of a collective and not just as individuals, because that's where we start to ignore or even worse, like be violent towards each other.
With the Women's Center celebrating 50 years of advocacy and empowerment, their work remains as urgent as ever. The fight for equality and justice is never finished. This is Amanda Nolan with UCSB TV. See you next time.
And speaking of celebrations, it's also been a big week for Gaucho Women Sports. Let's hear more about women's tennis and softball from sports reporters Claralyn and Sydney.
It was a jam-packed Saturday, April 12th for UC Santa Barbara's athletics, with women's tennis, softball, and track and field all in action here at home, where the Gauchos did not disappoint. Let's start on the courts. Good morning, Gauchos, and welcome to Arnold Tennis Center. I'm Claralyn Manning.
And I'm Sydney Reardon. We are here in an exciting weekend of women's tennis, as the Gauchos host UC Irvine on Saturday and Cal State Fullerton on Sunday. Both matches are starting at 11 a.m.
The Gauchos entered this weekend's match against UC Irvine Anteaters with a record of 8-8, aiming to keep their standing in the Big West Conference. Both opponents here in Santa Barbara this weekend from Irvine and Fullerton are both crucial for the Gauchos' postseason's goals to come true.
At Arnold today, keep a lookout for senior Amelia Horner, who recently secured singles victories against Harvard. In Dallas, a dynamic duo of Horner and Lucy Liu has enriched the 2024-25 team, being able to deliver a 6-2 win in their last outing.
Also keep an eye out on Tyra Richardson and Katarina Vesteras as well, both who contribute significantly in their singles play.
Cal State Fullerton have shown resilience this entire season. The Gauchos will need to maintain focus and capitalize on home court advantages this morning.
Securing the double point early on will be vital, setting the tone for the rest of the match.
Watch for aggressive baseline play and strategic net approaches from the Gauchos, aiming to disrupt their opponent's rhythm. The team's energy and cohesion will be key factors in navigating these back-to-back matches.
It is set to be an action-packed weekend here at the Arnold Tennis Center. Let's support women's tennis as they strive for more victories at home within the Big West Conference.
Go Gauchos! The UCSB women's tennis team dominated in their Big West match against the UC Irvine Anteaters. The Gauchos were locked in from the first serve, sweeping doubles play, and rolling through their singles with commanding wins from top to bottom. Their chemistry, consistency, and mental toughness showed why they remain a force in the Big West Conference.
We got to talk to Rafaela Leroy and Amelia Orner from the women's tennis team. We asked their unique perspective from a freshman and a senior who was the 2025 Hurd Award finalist for tennis. When speaking to freshman Leroy, we discussed the true meaning of being a Division I tennis team in the beautiful Santa Barbara.
Congratulations on your win today. What's one thing that's special about the UCSB tennis program?
I think something that's super special is obviously my teammates, my coaches, the staff. I think we're lucky enough to work with Win Bryan as well to promote our matches every single time we pack the stands, and it's super fun to play tennis with a crowd helping us, and yeah, I think that's super special because you don't see that very often, I feel like. So.
On the other hand, senior star Orner gave us her emotional insight on her victory against Harvard and what it meant to be nationally ranked in the Intercollegiate Tennis Association.
I think my most memorable college match was definitely freshman year. We played Stanford. We had never beaten them in program history, and the match was tied at 3-all, and I was the last match on, and I ended up clinching it for the team. And yeah, it was just a super special moment to have all my teammates there as a freshman too. Yeah, so super memorable, and that'll stay with me for a while.
The women's tennis team is full of passion for their sport and, most importantly, how to represent the blue and gold in the United States. After this weekend where they face UC Irvine and Cal State Fullerton, the women's tennis team clinched the 2025 tennis regular season title in the Big West.
Just across the Arnold Tennis Center to the campus diamond, it was a complete doubleheader shutdown against Long Beach State. Game 1 was a back-and-forth battle, but the Gauchos came up on top thanks to their dominant pitching and catching after the bottom of the fourth. In Game 2, UCSB's offense and defense locked, holding Long Beach to losing by 1 point. Final score being 10-9. The wins are huge for UCSB as they continue their push for the Big West Conference spot. The Gauchos won their doubleheader but fell short to the last series of their game against Long Beach on Sunday, April 13th.
And the energy did not stop at the campus diamond. It continued at the Poly track, where the UCSB track and field squad hosted the UC Santa Barbara Open that brought plenty of excitement and standout performances. Leading the way was junior sprinter Mia Shepard, who for this week was named the Big West Track and Field Athlete of the Week after a pristine performance in the 200-meter and the 400-meter dash. Shepard continues to prove she is one of the Big West Conference elite. From the courts to the field to the track, April 12th was a full showcase of Gaucho grit and excellence.
While the postseason is starting to creep up, UCSB athletics momentum could not be coming at a better time than now. That's all from sports this week. Back to you, Annabelle and Josh.
Well, that is all we have for you tonight. We will see you next week with all the sports, news, and events here in the heart of Isla Vista. I'm Annabelle Persaud.
And I'm Josh Rhodes. You're watching UCSB TV.